After many years of being stuck on Unreal Engine 3, Rocket League is finally swapping engines, not to Unreal Engine 5, but Unreal Engine 6. During the RLCS Paris Major, we got a teaser trailer showing Rocket League running in UE6. And while I'm all for this game getting a major upgrade, I of course do have some concerns. So let's break down what's in the trailer and make a guess as to when the game will release. And while we go through the details, if you enjoyed this breakdown, consider supporting the channel and share this video around. So first and foremost, we have to talk about Unreal Engine 6, because right now, that engine is not available for anyone. That engine is still being developed as far as we know by Epic Games, and we'll be seeing more of it by June 16th. On top of that, Unreal Engine 5, the current version, is still around and is still being updated. Right now, I think they're at update 5.8, so it could be a little while before Unreal Engine 6 itself gets released. But as for the game, it might release a little sooner than that. But before we start to predict when that will happen, let's go ahead and break down this trailer. And this is the first shot we see of one of the stadiums in Rocket League in UE6. And, the grass looks great, the stadium looks great. No complaints here. Of course, it's just a stadium, and Rocket League is also a fairly simple game when you get down to the graphics of everything. So, again, not really how much they can do to mess this up. And there has been speculation as to how long they've been working on this. If you see up here in the top corner, all the different RLCS banners, and there are 3 blank ones. Right now, there should only be 2 blank ones. This third one should have been filled in. So that kind of hints as to when this was ported over into Unreal Engine 6. Some people were saying that this would have been done or was supposed to be announced late last year during the previous RLCS event. At the end of the day, this is just a stadium. Yes, it would take time to work on the lighting and all of the textures and do all of this, but this isn't the most complex thing in the world. So even though this could have taken 6 months to get the stadium to look like this, I think it could also take in 3 months or 4 months. So people are saying that this has been in the works for a while now. I'm sure it has, but in terms of what's actually in the build right now, I don't think it's as much time has passed as what people may think. And this shot right here is a recreation of another shot from the game that's out right now. And as you can see, there are some very noticeable differences. There's a lot more color in the current version of Rocket League, whereas this one, the colors are more dimmed. They are more, realistic, better shading, better shadows. So obviously there is a lot of good to this. But on top of that, because of how dim some of these colors can look, especially on the car itself, it can kind of make the game look a little too realistic, and that can be a problem. There can be some problems with the lack of color saturation like we see on the car itself. It's just one of those things where I don't want the colors to look too muted in Unreal Engine 6. It's fine if there are certain cars or certain textures that are going to be muted, but we should also have a brighter version of those colors. When looking at cars in Rocket League, and at least how they should look in game and in trailers, the best way I can describe it is that every car should look like a sports jersey. The colors are very bright, the colors pop, they're very iconic, you're not going to miss it. It should not blend into anything that's in the foreground or in the background. Rocket League is a very expressive game. In that remark, there's a ton of accessories to use to make your car look either bright or dim. And so I just hope that those options remain available in Unreal Engine 6, and they pop just as much as they do now in Unreal Engine 6. Moving on to the next shot. And in the next shot, we get a teaser as to what the garage may end up looking like. It's a very, very short teaser. We don't actually see any UI other than this. And like I said, I was complaining about the colors not being bright enough. This looks great here, but will this look like this in the actual game when you're on the stadium? Lighting is very tricky in games, especially if you look at games like Monster Hunter or Destiny 2. There are some accessories that look great in one type of lighting, and then they kind of just disappear in brighter or darker lighting. I would love to see what this would look like in the stadium, in the game itself, not just in a cinematic. But if it looks as bright as it does here, I think we're pretty much set. And again, the wheels showing RLCS 2025. So again, it's kind of a timestamp as to when this was being worked on. Obviously, it wouldn't be that hard to change, a number 5 into a number 6. But it takes time to make everything that is being run on Unreal Engine 3 and then upscale it and retexture it to look like it belongs in Unreal Engine 6. It's not that it would take a long time, but obviously they are just using the assets that they have on hand to put this teaser together. Again, I'm not so much convinced that this teaser was being built during the Paris or during the previous RLCS event, rather that it was ready for the previous RLCS event. I think they were working on it at that time, and these were the accessories that they had available, and now they were ready to like show the trailer. I don't think this trailer is late. I think this trailer is pretty much on time with when Epic wanted to show it. And the other thing here, talking about like the inventory and the UI, it seems like they want to go for a simplistic UI, which is great. I prefer my vertical menus. I prefer very straightforward UI. However, I do think this is just a placeholder, and there are a few reasons for that. First and foremost, throughout the shot, the camera is moving up and down a little bit, but the UI does not move at all. And then the other thing is that this option, the presets, profile, progression, none of this moves at all. Like the actual selection doesn't move at all. And then the other big thing, this is just way too simple for Rocket League, in my opinion. And then not only that, but if you look at the font, that's not Rocket League font. That's Fortnite font. So I do think this is just a placeholder to show this is kind of the idea of what the garage is going to look like and an idea of what the UI is going to be laid out as. But I'm hoping so much that first and foremost, this looks cleaner once we actually have it in game. And secondly, that the font itself goes back to the Rocket League font instead of the Fortnite font. Outside of an announcement or a crossover announcement, I do not want to see Fortnite font in my Rocket League menus. I just don't. I don't like the Fortnite font myself, so that's just a personal preference. It also is a bit clashing when you have like the RLCS font and then it doesn't match the Fortnite font. So I really hope this is not like the final idea, and I hope that this is just here to show, as a teaser would, what the UI is going to properly look like, and then they'll swap it over to something that looks more like Rocket League and less like Fortnite. But overall, like we see with these presets, you know, they show up real nice. There's this other one here. I can't, if I can pause in time. This one also looks real nice. We also see like some of the older wheels that are already in the game. And then the last thing here as part of the announcement is this metaverse kind of menu that they're going for. A lot of people were concerned that you have to boot into Fortnite to play Rocket League. That doesn't seem to be the case, but it does seem like we may have another launcher, either built into the Epic Games Store launcher or something that's more of a standalone, and then you would pick Rocket League from there. I don't know how all this is going to work. None of us really do, but you can see this is kind of the plan that the developers have, that Epic Games has for selecting your game sometime in the future. And then of course you have the Unreal Engine 6 logo that they show at the very end. That's all the information that we got from this teaser so far. And again, all we can do is just speculate when we're going to get it, when we're not. And then in terms of like actual gameplay, there are some very big things that we have to worry about. First and foremost, the gameplay and the physics of the game have to remain identical to what they are now. I think it's fine if there are some very, very small changes here or there. The physics itself and actually hitting the ball and getting 50-50s and all of that has to remain as consistent as possible because of how dynamic Rocket League is. The closer these physics are to being what they are now, the better. And I'm sure that Epic Games and Psyonix in particular are going to do everything they can to make this game feel as close to one-to-one as what it does now. Another thing people bring up, because it is Unreal Engine 6, that the game may not be optimized. It may take a lot of resources in order to run at a good frame rate. And while that may be true if you're running it at like ultra settings, there was this post online from Nintendo which basically confirms that this Unreal Engine 6 upgrade is coming to the Switch 2 as well. And granted, developers do put more time into like thinning out the resources required on these weaker devices like the Switch 2. I think that also means that we are going to have more graphic options than we do now. I mean, I can pretty much say that, you know, without batting an eye. And with that, we would be able to lower the quality of the game in order to get back, you know, to triple-digit FPS, and everything will be stable. And not only that, but Rocket League itself is a small game. At the very most, you have 8 cars on the field, and everyone is stuck in one stadium. So it's not like you're swapping from stadium to stadium, or that the map is as large as it is in Fortnite. It's a very small game. It should be very easy to optimize, or it should be a lot easier to optimize than something like Fortnite. And again, you have the developers of the game engine, Epic Games, helping out with the development of this upgrade. In the good sense of the term, it's going to get the Fortnite treatment, where they're going to do everything they can to make the game run as well as possible. And if you're an naysayer and you're saying that there are no optimized Unreal Engine games, well, all I can say is look at games like the Finals and Arc Raiders that are built by Embark. They have no direct affiliation with Epic Games, and they were able to optimize two fairly large games really well in Unreal Engine 5. It's not an impossible task, and if there's anyone that can do it, it would be the developers of the game engine themselves. And then lastly, what about predictions? When can we actually see this happen? Personally, I do not expect this update to happen this year. I think that's way too optimistic. We just don't see enough game in this teaser to show that, yeah, they have like most of the assets available in the game right now. The most optimistic release date would be like March of next year, 2027. There's no reason for them to release this now. There's no reason for them to release this year when you have games like GTA 6 and the next Call of Duty coming out. And of course, I think there are one or two other big name games coming out before the end of this year. Throwing this out now doesn't really make that much sense. I think this makes a lot more sense to push this out towards the spring to summer of next year, because I would imagine once they release Rocket League in Unreal Engine 6, they would be doing the same thing for Fortnite. And I think both of those games are going to update and be pushed out pretty much at the same exact time. Again, we'll find out more on June 16th as there's the Unreal Fest. So we'll get a deeper dive into Unreal Engine 6 and what it's going to provide, as well as a better window as to when Unreal Engine 6 and all of these other games running Unreal Engine 6 are going to be released. I really do hope it does release sooner rather than later, but I think business-wise it doesn't make sense to release it this year. Even if it was an option, I don't think it makes sense to release it this year. So that's all the information we have right now. Let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comments below. Are you optimistic for this? Do you think Epic Games is going to mess this up and the game is going to be unplayable? Do you think they're going to mess up the physics? What are your biggest concerns for this turnaround? And let me know all that in the comments below. Until then, I'm Mr. Rain, and I'll see you guys next time.